So a lot of students are scared of algebra, but trust me, if you pay good attention in class 6 and in class 7, you will be able to find algebra really easy. Now let us talk about what starts with algebra. So you see, the reason why many students they find it confusing is because they are okay as long as there are numbers in mathematics 1 2 3 4, they can make sense of that, right? 2 means 2, 3 means 3. Okay, minus 3 has also come in, so we understand if there is a loss of something, then it goes into the minus, or if something goes below 0, then it is represented in minus, but still it is number, right? But when alphabets come into mathematics, they start getting confused and they are like, I don't want to study this is like very confusing. So but let me tell you that alphabets, they are very interesting and they are the ones that help you understand so many different situations in your real life as well. Because you see, now with the alphabets, we call them as what? Alphabets are called as variables,
Variables.
right?
Variable.
Whereas the numbers are called as constants.
Constants.
Constant.
Constants means which are not going to change. So they are like numbers, minus 5 and all this. They are still constant. Even if it is like minus or something, they would still be considered as constant because they have a fixed value, right? The value is fixed. Whereas for variables, as the name suggests, they have changing values. Changing values means the values will change accordingly. It can be anything. So if someone says a plus 3, so the answer to this is not fixed. Like 5 plus 3, the answer is fixed. What will be the answer over here?
8.
8.
Eight.
This is a constant answer. Now a plus 3, this answer is not fixed because we do not know the value of a. If the value of a is 1, the answer becomes 4. If the value of a is 2, the answer becomes 5. If the value of a is minus 4, the answer becomes minus 1. So you see, it keeps on changing. These values, they keep on changing. That is why they are called as variables. So variables simply mean that we can use them in any situation and it will change according to the situation. Now, how do we use that in real life? Let us say Shrestha has 3 apples, right? Now, depending on, let me just check how many, can anyone call up their name and tell me, because I'm looking at this tab. So who is present? Is Shreya present? Shreya is
Yes,
present
yes.
in class. Okay. So let us say Shreya gives her some apples, right? So if Shreya gives her 5 apples, then this will become, the total apples that Shrestha has will become 8, right? Now, if Shreya gives her 2 apples, then total apples that Shrestha has will become 5. Now, but if Shreya takes 1 apple from Shrestha, then Shrestha will be left with 2 apples, right? Do you see that? How the variables, they matter? How the variables change the value? So it all depends on Shreya's खुशी. श्रेया को कितनी खुशी हो रही है देने के लिए, कि वो कितना देना चाहती है, या फिर वो ले लेगी, बोलेगी भाई मेरे पास नहीं है, तुम एक एप्पल मुझे दे दो. So that is how the variables work, and we have to keep that in mind because life is not like that. So there are constants and there are variables. Just like that, earlier on, you remember, sister said that we have holidays till Friday, till 30th rather, till Saturday. The schools were closed, but then the situation became so that we had to close the school further. So the situation is always changing. So the variables, they represent that, and that is why depending on the value of these variables, we will get different answers. Also, it is useful for you to find a lot of things. Let us say that the cost of a book is 30 rupees, right? 30 rupees. The cost of the book is 30 rupees. Now, just with this fact, you can find out so many things. What can you find out? You can find out what will be the cost of 5 books. Can you find out? What will be the cost of 5 books?
Rupees 150.
It will be rupees 150 because here the variable is 5. Now, if you have to buy 2 books, then also you will know how much will the cost be?
Rupees 60.
So if you have to buy 2 books, then the cost becomes rupees 60. So with the this is how are you able to calculate this? Because you are ready with the variable. You're not fixed on that कि नहीं हमको बस 2 ही बुक्स का प्राइस पता है. अगर आप हमसे पूछेंगे कि 5 बुक खरीदने के लिए कितना पैसा लगेगा, हमको नहीं मालूम. You know why is that is possible? That is possible because of algebra. That is possible because you understand the concept of the variable as to how the variables work. Okay, so do not be scared of these A, B, X, Y, C, D, E. Just make friends of them and you will enjoy algebra a lot. It is very interesting, and you know, those who love algebra, those who get the algebraic concepts correct, they keep on doing only algebra. They love it so much, and the more and more you practice, the better and better you will keep getting at it. Okay, so this constant and variable together, they are parts of algebra. Now in algebra, what we need to understand is the algebraic algebraic terms and expressions. Algebraic expressions, you would have heard of this word, algebraic terms and algebraic expressions. So let us first talk about what are algebraic terms. So when we are talking about algebraic terms, what we are saying is that it is any combination of constant, variable, or constant and variable. So what does this mean? Let us say 5. This is an algebraic term. Let us say A. This is also an algebraic term. 5A. This is also an algebraic term. And when I say this, combination, it has to be in the form of multiplication. What is happening with my pen? Multiplication. That means they need to be a product, right? So this is a product. Now if we write 5 plus A, then is this a term? No, this is not a term. This is called an algebraic expression. Why is it called as an algebraic expression? Because there are 2 things which are separated by a sign. So in an algebraic term, there will be no, they will not be separated. Is someone trying to join in or not? No. Okay. So in an algebraic expression, the 2 terms are separated by a plus or a minus sign. So the number of plus or minus sign determine how many terms are there. So if I have minus 5A plus 3. So how many terms over here? How many terms can you see over here in this expression?
2.
2 terms. Why? Because there are 2 signs over here, right? What about 2x minus y? How many terms over here in this expression?
2 terms.
2 terms again. You cannot see this sign, but there is a plus sign which is not written generally when it is in the beginning. So this is one term and this is another term. So are you able to identify as to what constitutes a term and what constitutes an expression? Will you be able to identify it? I'm starting right from the basics so that you are able to get your algebraic concepts clear. Okay, what about minus 3xyz? What is this? Is it a term or is it an algebraic expression?
One term.
This is one
Term.
term. So this is just a term. And if I add plus 2xy square over here, then what does it become?
Two terms.
It
Two
becomes
terms.
two terms. Now if I add plus 5xz square, what does it become?
Three terms.
Three terms.
Three terms.
Now if I add minus 8x square y square, what does it become?
Four terms. Four terms.
Four terms, right? So when there was only one term in the beginning, it was called as a monomial, right? So monomial means that there is only one term in the algebraic expression. This is an entire algebraic expression. Monomial. Then from monomial we move on to binomial. So binomial means there are two terms. Then we move on to trinomial, and then we have a polynomial.
Miss, we can also say four terms as quadrinomial.
Quadrinomial you can also say. Generally we go by these terms. In fact, if you say monomial is just one term and polynomial is more than one term. But generally what we do for the sake of convenience, if there are two terms we call it as binomial, if there are three we call it trinomial, and if there are four or more than three we call them as polynomial. But just know that if there is only one, then there is monomial, and otherwise the rest of them, they are all considered as polynomials. Now one more thing to understand over here is, when we are talking about terms, then there has this, we are constant, this variable part you understand that the variables are there. Now when we are talking about the constant part, can someone tell me if, what is this? Is this a monomial or is this a binomial?
Monomial.
This is a monomial, right? Now if you have plus 3a by b, right? So you have a term where you have this b over here in the denominator, right? So this type of terms where you have, here you see, if it is written like this, then this means, this goes without saying, that these variables that are there, they belong to the numerator, right? Here we see that b is in the denominator. So when you have any variable in the denominator, here you have 2 in the denominator, right? This is a constant. So this can be a part of the polynomial, but this b underneath a variable in the denominator part, this cannot be a part of a polynomial. This will simply be, this will not be called as a polynomial. This will simply be another term. So yes, this is not a part, a polynomial does not make it up this way. So you can have minus 5 by 2 ABC plus 3AB. This will be a polynomial, but this type of a term, this will be a term. This, remember, this is an algebraic term, but this cannot be a part of a polynomial because the variable goes in the denominator. So in a polynomial, a variable never ever goes in a denominator. Alright. So that is what you need to remember. It is a term, yes, but this part cannot be considered as a part of a polynomial. That is what I wanted to clarify right now. Okay. So this is okay. This constant in the denominator is okay, but the variable in denominator is not okay, as in we will do sums related to that. We can make calculations, but it will simply not be called as a polynomial. For a polynomial, all the variables need to be in the numerator. When you study about exponents, then you will understand this concept even clearer. I will explain that as to why this is not considered as a part of a polynomial at that time. For now, just know. If you are asked to identify whether which one of these is a polynomial, you should say that this, the second one, this is a polynomial, this cannot be considered as a polynomial. So that you are able to identify the polynomials clearly at least. Okay. Now let us come to the product and the factor. So we will talk about the algebraic term. Now terms are important over here. Let me use a different colored pen. So terms are important. So as I said, this minus 3xyz, this is a term. So what are the factors over here? The factors are minus 3 into, tell me quickly.
X.
Yeah, minus 3, I'll just put up dot over here to show the multiplication sign. X
Into Y.
Into Y.
Into Z.
Into Z. So these are the factors, right? What do we mean by factors? Factors simply mean that when you multiply minus 3, x, y and z, you will get this. Just like the factors of 20, if you are finding factors of 20, you will say 2 into 10. You multiply 2 with 10, or 10 further you can split up. You studied factor tree, right? In your junior classes, you studied about factor tree. You have studied factor tree, right? So factor tree, when we are talking about factor tree, so 20, it gets split into 2 into 10. This gets split further into 2 into 5. So if you are splitting, then the factors of 20 would be 2 into 2 into 5, right? So these are the factors. So same way, minus 3xyz will have the factors minus 3 into x into y into z. Now what about if I write over here 2a square bc. So what will be the factors over here?
2 into
yes, 2 into
A into A.
A into A. May I know who's speaking, please?
Miss, my name is Ritoma.
Okay, Ritoma, yes. Into A into B into
C.
Yes, absolutely correct, Ritoma. So here we are not doing it as like 2 into A into B into C. A has come 2 times. So we have to mention A 2 times over here. Right. Now what about 4bca square? What are the factors of this?
2 into 2 into B into C into A into A.
Yes, 2. What we can do is in this, when we are talking about the factors of algebraic terms, we can take the constant as 1. There is no need to split the constant over here. So you can use that instead of writing 2 into 2, you can write that as 4 as well, right? So 4, yes, it can be further split into 2 into 2. 4 into B into
C into A into A.
Into A. Okay. Now what about minus 3 C A square B?
Minus 3 into C into A into B.
Into B. Right. A into A into B. Yes. This is how we split it. Absolutely correct. Now, I just want you to forget about the constants and I want you to look at the variables in all the 3 cases. So, can you look at the variables? So, what are the variables over here? 2a, 1b, 1c, right? Over here, 2a, 1b, 1c. Over here, how many is?
2a, 1b, 1c.
So, that means they are the same, right? They look different. This looks a square bc, this is bc a square. this is c a square b. They look different. But when you look at the term, look at the factors, they are the same. They have the same variables, right? Exactly same. सब में दो a है, एक b है, एक c है. They have exactly the same variables. This means that they are called as like terms. You get the concept of like terms now? What are like terms? Even though they look different. So a square bc, not b square, but b a square c, c b a square. All these three, if they are the variables, they would be termed as like terms. So when we are talking about like terms, we check only the variables, right? So like terms, otherwise if they are not similar, then we call them as unlike terms. So if I give you like 3a square bc,
Ma'am,
yes please.
ma'am, according to the book, it is saying that if the variables are not arranged in a proper manner, then they are unlike terms.
If they are not arranged in the proper manner, then they are unlike terms. No, that is not so.
It is given in page number 146, question 10.
146, question number, just a minute. Which thing which you are talking about? There is no 146 in my book. This algebraic expression chapter you are talking about, fundamental concepts of algebra you are talking about.
Yes, ma'am. There it is given point 10, like and unlike terms.
Just a minute. Like and unlike. Okay, point 10 you are talking about. Like and unlike term. Where does it say? Terms having the same are called terms with different literal coefficients. Where does it say that it is?
Yes, an example.
For example, so they are unlike. Now, where does it say? They're like.
Question number 3. Bit number 3.
So check. In one it is x, in the other one it is x square. X, y square and x square y. There is a difference. That is why you have to watch very carefully. You see, 3xy square and 4xy square. Did you see this carefully?
Yes, ma'am.
There is one x and one y, x square in one and another. That's see what I'm just writing over here. 3a square bc, 4ab square, 5ab square. So you see, all these are unlike terms. Why? Because in this there are two a's, here there are two b's, here there are two c's. Even if you have something like minus 5a square b square c and minus 2a square b square, still they will be unlike terms. Why? Because इसके factors क्या हैं? a into b into b into c. I don't know why my pen is giving some problems. a into b into b into c. इसके हैं a into b into b. Why is it not writing? I don't know. A into b into b. It is a bit delayed. So you see, there is an extra c over here. Exactly same होना चाहिए जैसे हमने यहाँ देखा था. As we just saw over here, they have to be exactly the same. अगर order does not matter, the variables have to be exactly the same. Otherwise, they are all unlike terms. So they would be called as unlike terms. Now, why is it important to know about like terms and unlike terms? Very quickly, I will tell you. Only remember this, like, what is happening? Only like terms can be added or subtracted. For addition addition and subtraction, you need only like terms. Unlike terms can be multiplied or divided, but unlike terms cannot be added or subtracted. Only like terms can be added or subtracted. If they are unlike terms, you will leave it just like that. So let me give you an example and let us see how it works. Is someone asking a question or someone wants to join in? Oh, they are joining in so late. We are about to end the class, but I will post this video, so do not worry. So let me give you an example over here. So if it is like 3xy plus 4xyz minus 2xy plus 8xyz. See, suppose you have an algebraic expression like this and you're asked to solve it. So what you will do is you will look for the like terms. So what are the like terms? These are the like terms. So you will group them together. So you have 3xy minus 2xy. You group it together. Then these two are also like terms. So you will again group them together and you will write it as just 4xy plus 8xyz. Sorry, 4xyz plus 8xyz. So you will add them up and you will get xy, and here you will get, I don't know what is wrong with this, 12xyz. Right? So you cannot do this and you cannot write it as 12x square y square z. No. This is a different term and this is a different term altogether. They are not like terms, so they cannot be added or subtracted. Okay, so you have to leave them this way. इसमें कुछ और नहीं करने का है छेड़छाड़. क्यों? क्योंकि this is a different term, this is a different set of variables, this is a different set of variables. So you cannot add or subtract them, right? So that is how we do the addition or the subtraction over there. Now one more thing that I wanted to talk about was the coefficient and the degree. Coefficient and the degree. So coefficient is, I don't know why it is not working. Coefficient of a term. Now remember that coefficient is always coefficient of a term. So you have like 3a square b square c. Now here it means the products are 3 into a into a. अरे भाई क्या हो रहा है इसको? a into b into b into c. I think I'll need to change my pen or what. Or this is not working or pen is not working. 3 into a into a into b into b into c. So suppose you are asked to find out what is the coefficient of 3a square. So you simply take away 3a square and this remaining part will be the coefficient. B square c will be the coefficient. If you are asked to find the coefficient of 3ab, so you take 3ab out and what are you left with? A, B, C. So that will be the coefficient. So in coefficient of a term, you simply take away those factors and the rest of them will be the coefficient of the term. That is what you need to remember. So if I give you like minus 5pq square. So what is the coefficient of minus 4q over here? Can someone tell me?
PQ.
Yes, absolutely correct. Who was that answering? Was it Ritoma?
Yes, miss.
Okay, thank you, Ritoma. Thank you so much. So we take only one. You have to find the coefficient of minus 4q. So what are you left with? PQ. If someone is, I don't know what is this is delayed or my pen is not working. I do not know whether it is a problem with the whiteboard or with my pen. I am not so sure about this. So all you need to do is whenever you are asked to find the coefficient, you simply take out all the factors, minus 4 into p into q into q. Again it is delayed. I don't know if it is. अरे भाई बच्चे लोगों को क्यों परेशान कर रहा है. minus 4 into p minus अरे oh minus 4 into p into q into q. Okay, so here you take minus 4 and q away from it and you're left with pq. So that is how you find out the coefficient of a term. I'm sorry, I don't know what is wrong with my pen. Another thing that comes over here is the degree of, this pen is killing me, degree of polynomial. What do we mean by degree of a polynomial? Now, degree is always found for a polynomial, not for a term. Coefficient is found for a term, but degree is for a polynomial. So polynomial, let us take up a polynomial. This polynomial can be a binomial as well. So minus 4 a square b c plus 3x square y square z minus 7 a square b square c cube. Okay, so suppose this is the polynomial and you have to find its degree. So over here what we do is to find the degree, we add up the powers of all the variables. So the power for a is 2, b has 1 and c has also power of 1. So the total powers of variables over here are what? 4.
4.
Right? I'm sorry, this is pen is being a little bit tricky today. Now over here what will be the power?
5.
5. Absolutely correct. Now what about this? Over here what will be the
7.
power? Power is 7 over here. So which term has the highest power? This term has the highest power, right? So the degree of the polynomial will be, oh, I can't even see this, 7. The highest power will be the degree of the polynomial. Does not matter कौन से term का है. It is just the highest power which we need to consider over here. So let me quickly give you another expression, and let us say it is minus 5 pq r square plus 16. Oh god, this is really driving me crazy. I don't know what is wrong with this. 16 x square y square z square z did not even get written, minus 12 a cube b cube c to the power 2. So can someone tell me what will be the degree of this polynomial?
8.
8. Yes, who answered it?
Miss, I am Rituma.
Ritoma. Okay, Ritoma is the one giving the answers today. So 8. Why 8? Because ये सब में यहाँ देखो, यहाँ इसका पावर है, टोटल पावर्स हैं 4, यहाँ टोटल पावर्स हैं 6, यहाँ टोटल पावर्स हैं 8. So the degree of this polynomial will be 8. Are you able to get this concept right now? What do we mean by degree of a polynomial? All right. So I guess I have taken up extra minutes and I have another class